clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome to Subway Sports Talk. My name is Peter Kennedy, and I am your host. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us on SST, Apple Podcast app, Spotify, and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review on your podcast app, and follow us on social media at Subway Sports Talk, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, whatever. Follow us on social media. We'll have our picks up on there, but also we have our picks right here because it's the Friday episode. It's time to make picks for Week 14 in the NFL. Let me recap the records here before we introduced our guests. Standing as a unit at 83 and 72, 11 games over 500 this late into the season. That's something to be proud of. And boy, am I proud of these fellas right here. None other than Cody O'Connor, tied for the lead in the Subway Sports Talk picks. Cody, 23 and 16 for you, brother. Must feel nice.
I'll be honest, it doesn't feel nice. It feels like a disappointing 23 and 16 after back-to-back 1 and 2 weeks. We really had to dive in this week, and we did. And we're ready for a 3-0 bounce back. It's coming this week. I know I said it last week, but prepare for it this week. 3-0 is coming back, 26 and 16. You might as well write it. You can write it in pen. You don't need to, no pencil for the eraser. Get it in pen, etch it in stone. 3-0 is coming this week. We're back.
And we'll post that on social media for sure. I'll see you at 3-0, said Mark Chenlugan. He's not here right now, but he just said it. He knew that he had to say it right now. I heard him from Jersey City to Hoboken say that he's going 3-0 as well. Mark Chenlugan not here, but he's actually on a nice little run here for the past couple of weeks. He's 21 and 18. And myself, I am 23, 15, and 1. So technically, I got the half game lead on Cody. But I say we're tied for first right now. And last but not least, the caboose. Pat Boyle, 16 and 23. Oh, my God, dude. What do you got to say for yourself?
Choo-choo. I'm coming out the back, baby. I'm letting the nuts hang out the back. So, look, it's a bounce-back week. We need a big bounce back. And I'm just going to raw dog 3 spreads this week that I actually love.
Oh, my God.
And it's going to be 3 road dogs. So, there's your teaser. I'm ready to rock and roll. I got nothing else to say. I'm putting pride on the line this week, Pete.
And here's a big throwback for all of our Subway Sports Talk picks listeners. Since you are raw dogging spreads, that is implied now that you can't bust a nut, right? It's very important that when you raw dog, you're not busting the nut, all right? So you can't go through the 0. You got to just get it right the first time. That's a throwback for anyone who pays attention to these picks podcasts. Anyone who just joined for the first time, they go, what is going on here? Well, what's going on here is some great picks. That's what we do here, Subway Sports Talk. I'm off a 2-1. Cody's off a 1-2. Pat's off an 0-3. Mark Chenlugan off a 2-1. And we're here to do some more picks. Pat, so confident with the raw dog in this week with the straight up spreads. Why don't you kick us off with your first pick of Week 14?
Yeah, Pete, I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you guys play ball when you're raw dogging, but I don't play by really any rules. So you might have to take a little trip to CVS after this weekend after you raw dog these 3 spreads because you might be popping. First pick, Rams, +7, and the hook. And the hook is important here because, look, I think it's easy to dismiss what the Rams have done the last 3 weeks. They beat the Seahawks by a point. Everybody was like, oh, all right, cool. Kind of a sloppy game, defensive battle. Geno made some late turnovers, didn't play well. Then they blow out the Cardinals, but it's like, all right, well, the Cardinals stink, all right, so it doesn't matter. And then they blow out the Browns with Joe Flacco, so everybody I feel like is so quick to be like, all right, well, it was Joe Flacco. Let's not forget, the Browns' defense has been the best in the NFL, like per almost every major category, points allowed, yards allowed. They've been the best. So it's not Joe Flacco playing defense. They hung 36. This is the healthiest the Rams have been all season. Kyren Williams, Notre Dame, pride of the Irish, that's why I'm wearing the beanie, has been an absolute dog. Puka Nacua is going to play. He's not even on the injury report, right? Apparently he's got a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. He's going to play. You know why? Because he's a dog. And, of course, you got Cooper Kupp, who seems to be close to 100% now. So, look, dude, that 3-headed monster, they're going to take apart this Ravens defense. I think the Rams can put up points, absolutely. It's going to come down to the defense. Can they get pressure on Lamar? Can they force him to move the pocket and be uncomfortable? Because I still think that if you can somewhat stop the Ravens' run game with, of course, J.K. Dobbins on IR, it's Keaton Mitchell, Gus Edwards again here, And, you always got to watch out for Lamar's legs. But I think this run game's not as strong without Dobbins. So, you force the Ravens to kind of be pass heavy and you can get pressure. Tough to ask, but look, 7 in the hook, as good as the Ravens have been, and they're coming off the bye, so everybody just kind of remembers all the good things about them. I still think this team's very flawed. I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. The Rams are the healthiest they've been. They're playing ball. Give me the road dog. Give me the Rams plus 7 in the hook.
Add that to Lamar Jackson's health possibilities.
Yeah,
feels like a good play.
Has an illness, didn't practice Thursday. I mean, I expect him to play. But if you do like this pick, even more incentive to take it now, lock it in early, in the off chance Lamar does get ruled out.
Yeah, and also, like, on that type of spread right here, right? Like, you see the 7.5, and, like, it's begging you to take the Ravens down to -1.5, right? Or the money line in a money line parlay. It's begging you, saying, oh, the Ravens, look at this, top of the AFC, let's take them. Take them to the money line parlay. Take them at 7.5. And it feels like the Rams might be the frisky pick, Pat. I like where your head's at early on. I'll see if I include them moving forward. I don't know. But Cody O'Connor is up next on the docket.
Wish, Pat, that I had a couple straight legs the way that you have them. Wish that I could just take something and just see it and say, hey, this is the line this week. But I didn't feel like that this week. Maybe last week was the week, and maybe I botched it, and that's why I was 1-2. But this week, I'm going with the classic Patty B same game parlay. So we're switching it up over here a little bit, Patty B. But I got my first pick, same game. I'm going with the Lions money line, and I'm going over 33.5, and it gets you -115. The Lions, I feel people were ready for them to start to fall off, right? They had that bad game against the Packers on Thanksgiving where I think everybody, including myself, was on the Lions and saying, hey, the Packers can't hang with this group, right? This squad is ready. They're primed, and the defense hasn't looked like such, right? And then you look over at the Bears and you say, hey, the Bears played them really tough last time. It took the Lions to come back from a multiple score deficit in the fourth quarter to be able to come back and win a miraculous game, which I ended up on the right side of, and I will say pretty luckily. Well, this time I don't think that's happening. I think the Lions are going to take care of business. I think the Bears' chance was the last time, and to be honest, I don't think the Bears are to the standard that they have played the last couple weeks. I think the Lions are going to take care of business, right? But I feel comfortable enough to say that the Bears are going to score some points, and that's going to get me over 33.5. And I'd rather take the Lions on the money line than the hook at 3.5. So I do, I guess, feel a little bit concerned that the Bears can put up some points and can alter this line from 3.5. And so that's why I want to take the Lions on the money line. But I do think that they are the class of the NFC North. I think they are better than the Bears. I think they are going to show that they are. And I just think that the Lions defense gets just enough stops in this one to win this game and to move to, I believe, 10-3 if they get this W, and to all but secure the NFC North. If that's not a guarantee with the win, it's an all but a guarantee if they do so. So I think that win against the Saints last week says something for the Lions. They got up early. The Saints came back, but the Lions did not falter. They did not break. They did not bend, and they were able to still pull out that victory. And I think they're going to be able to do similar, if not win this one somewhat handedly. And because the Lions defense has been playing the way they are, that's why I want to take the total and take it as an over. So the Lions money line over 33.5. Couldn't take a straight line here. But I do feel comfortable taking two picks in the same game, and it's -115 for pick one.
All right, I'll move on to my first pick, and I'm going with the teaser for my first pick of the week. I'm going to take two legs, almost identical here. Both of them are going to be +2, moved up to +8, my standard 6-point two-team teaser. The first one's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. They're currently +2 at the Cincinnati Bengals. This line opened up at Colts -2. So Jake Browning showed up on Monday night and played a hell of a game. That's beautiful. What a beautiful thing. Well, guess who the backup quarterback of the year is? It's Gardner Minshew. He's been great for weeks right now. The Colts have been competitive for many weeks now, and I don't trust that this line should have moved this much in that favor. The Bengals now being -2, it's a too big of a line movement. It's too reactionary to one good game of a backup quarterback against the Jaguars team who probably was looking past the backup quarterback just a little bit too much here. So I'm not trusting the Bengals to go out and dominate this Colts team and win by more than a touchdown. The Colts have been putting up points all year long. To hear these last couple games here, outside of the game 3 weeks ago in Germany against the Patriots, in which they won, where they only scored 10 points, they've put up 31, 27, 27, 27, 38, 20 points. The Colts are able to move the ball consistently through the air, on the ground. Even with Jonathan Taylor out, they can move the ball very consistently. This Bengals defense still hasn't caught their stride. They made some big plays, obviously, in their most recent game, but this is not the Lou Anarumo-led defense that we saw last year. This team has been struggling a little bit more than you would like to think with this type of core. They're not able to handle some of those defensive back losses. You see Jesse Bates out in Atlanta making big play after big play. Love the Colts getting them up to +8. The second leg of this one, Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. That's also a 2-point spread right now. You get the Bills up to +8. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, they're just not clicking on all cylinders. So even if they win this game, it's not convincing to me to think they're going to win by big numbers. They're not going to win by more than a touchdown. And on top of that, the Bills, for as disappointing as their season has been this year, they're only losing close games. All of their losses to this point have been extremely close. They lost by 3 to the Eagles, 2 to the Broncos, 6 to the Bengals, 4 to the Patriots somehow, and the Patriots won a game this year. So they've lost some games. Absolutely. They've been disappointing, but they haven't lost one game by more than 6 points. I like the Bills a little bit to win this game and to cover +2, but I like them a lot of bit to cover this +8. On top of that, Isaiah Pacheco wasn't at practice today for the Kansas City Chiefs. If he is out, he is by far and away their most consistent playmaker on offense. So if the Bills' defense is a concern for you, the Chiefs' offense should be a concern as well. And this Bills' offense is still ranking so highly in so many of the metrics. They're still moving the ball. Cook is doing better. He's actually putting some consistency onto this run game. And for as much as the Chiefs' defense has been making some good plays and being above average this year, they're not causing a crap ton of turnovers. I think Josh Allen's going to be motivated. He knows the season's on the line. I love them +8. I love the Colts +8. -120. That's my first pick.
Second pick for me, another road dog going to the NFC East, the big Sunday night football matchup. And oh no, the Eagles finally got smacked in the mouth. So now we're going to make the Cowboys, the machines they've been at home, 3.5-point favorites against Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. Are the Eagles banged up? Do they have injury concerns, or was that just a game where they had kind of been teetering on some questionable performances and still found themselves on the winning side? Yeah, I'm going through the injury report. Just about everybody's playing. Just about everybody is healthy. And I get it. The Eagles' defense has been bad. But coming off of getting smacked in the mouth at home against the 49ers, if there is a game that even during this gauntlet stretch of the season that they are going to get up for, it is when everybody's saying, oh, this is the Cowboys game to take over the NFC East. Come on, give me the Eagles plus the 3.5 points. I have been waiting patiently for the Cowboys to cowboy. And this is the game that it's going to happen. And they went on the road to Philadelphia 5 weeks ago, and they probably should have won that game in the last minute. And then Dak turns it over. They couldn't punch it in, and the Eagles walked away with a win. Since then, the Cowboys have destroyed the Giants, the Panthers, the Commanders, and won by 6, came from behind to beat the Seahawks. What have they really done that's been that impressive other than a 6-0 home record, right? They've beaten up on a bunch of mediocre teams the last couple of weeks. The Eagles kind of feel like they were teetering. They get pummeled. Okay, you don't think that this team, a Super Bowl caliber team, a Super Bowl caliber mentality is going to bounce back? That is what I'm betting on. Throw the X's and O's out the windows. Like I said, I know the Eagles secondary has been horrible. I know Dak's been throwing it well. But if there's ever a game to change the tide, to turn the tide, to kind of change everybody's opinions, to reinstate the status quo, it is Sunday night with all of America watching at the Death Star, at Jerry World. The Eagles are going to be playing with their fucking asses on fire Sunday night. And I'm going to be very excited to watch them beat the Cowboys. So Eagles plus 3.5. Take them on the money line as well.
Them dirty birds.
I don't know what to think about that game, Pat, or who to root for as a Giants fan. Like, Pete, I don't know if you feel differently about this, but it juices me up to hear you talk about how the Cowboys could get beat down like that until I realize that you're talking about the Eagles beating them. And then I go, well, I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, I'm like a little bit with you there, Cody. I just have that one stake where I picked the Cowboys to win the NFC East. I've kind of been hyping them up all year.
True.
So from my take perspective, I do have a little bit of weight on the Cowboys. And I got to be honest, man, I have just been so impressed watching them. I get the ideas that they haven't beat many impressive teams to this point, but they're just been really good all across the board. Their defense is obviously good. Dak Prescott should and is in the MVP conversation. They have the weapons. Tony Pollard's come alive. So to me, I don't know who I guess I'm rooting for the Cowboys. As much as I hate to say it, like I'm rooting for the Cowboys. Like, and that sucks, but it's true. I also would like to see some intrigue in this division, some late pushes on the division title here in the NFC East. I think that makes for exciting final couple weeks in the NFL. So I'll take the Cowboys in the heart and maybe in a later pick. We'll see.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do one of these podcasts where the Giants have some glimmer of hope of the division, but that sure as hell
maybe in 3 years.
Maybe hopefully I'm still on. Hopefully we're you're still inviting me on to do it at that point. But let's move on. Pick number 2, Pete. I'm a little bit against you on this one, but we got a nice sandwich opportunity here, and it is another. And this is the first time I've done this all year, but it's another same game opportunity where I'm going to take the Bengals up to 4.5, and I'm going to go over at 35.5. And I'll start with the Bengals at plus 4.5. I was impressed with Jake Browning, and I took the Bengals plus 10 last week, Monday night against the Jags, not just because I thought Jake Browning was going to come out of nowhere, but because this is a Super Bowl roster that I have believed in all year, and they are down their quarterback. And yes, that takes away the chance that they're going to win a Super Bowl, but it doesn't take away the chance that they can win football games or stay close in football games. The Indianapolis Colts are a very solid football team. But are they a team that I think is going to go out and blow out the Bengals in Cincinnati after they're coming off a big week, when they now still have an opportunity to make the playoffs at, I believe, what are they, 6-5 right now? Somewhere in that hunt. Regardless, they're at minimum in the hunt graphic. Now, you could say the Giants are also in the hunt graphic, or maybe that's just what I want to say. Yeah, 6-6. So they're right there, though, right? They can still make a push for the playoffs. Pat's shaking his head. Hey, you know what? Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, how you doing? We'll see. But that's not my pick just yet. The Bengals are plus 4.5 for me. I'm going over 35.5 because the Colts have been able to score points, but they haven't been able to stop other people from scoring points, right? The Bengals last week were able to put up points. They weren't really able to stop the Jags too much from scoring points. They were able to win in a bit of a shootout, and I think you get something of that this week. And I do think these are two teams that are really evenly matched right now. They are two backup quarterbacks, if we don't forget that Gardner Minshew is a backup quarterback. And again, the Bengals have T. Higgins healthy. They have Jamar Chase healthy. They had Joe Mixon running the ball well. They had what's the name of the backup running back that was taking carries away from Joe Mixon last week when I needed him to do even more of that?
Brown Scott.
Brown, what have you? He looked all right, and the
Chase
point
Brown.
was
Chase Brown.
Oh, there we go.
That's right, because it was another Chase, and it wasn't my Chase that was ending up in the end zone. It was Joe Mixon ending up in the end zone, and I wish it was Chase Brown because maybe I would have won my fantasy matchup, but I didn't. That's all right. The point is, I think that this game is a close one. I think it is two teams that are evenly matched, and I think that there are going to be some points. I think Jake Browning showed that in this offense, when they cater a little bit more to his strengths to him being able to roll out of the pocket and, shocker, just get Jamar Chase the freaking football and let him cook. Let him, throw the ball a little bit beyond the sticks. They were, for the first quarter, it seemed, maybe a little bit more, just throwing everything underneath. 2-yard dunk pass, 5-yard dunk pass. I think his longest air yards were 4 yards for the whole first quarter. And I'm sitting there like, what are we doing? You have Jamar Chase and you've got enough time where you can allow this guy just to throw the ball deep. And when they finally did, the offense opened up and they actually looked like some resemblance of the Bengals with Joe Burrow there. So I think they can show that again this week. I think this is a tight game. Again, I think this is really, really two teams that are closely contested. And Pete, I think in some sense you believe the same way as you brought up the Colts to 7.5. So in some sense, I think we believe that this is a field goal or a one possession game. And that's how I see it. So I got the Bengals plus 4.5. I got over 35.5. That's minus 120 for pick 2.
All right. My second pick is strictly off vibes and vibes alone. And it ain't good vibes. It's bad vibes. I'm going with a bad vibes pick here. And guys, shake your head, laugh at me. I don't want to make this pick, but I'm doing it anyway. Los Angeles Chargers minus 2.5. Home against the Denver Broncos. How dare I back the Los Angeles Chargers after the abysmal 4-week stretch in which they are, 1-3 because somehow they won 6-0 last week against the Patriots, who look like a world beater now, of course, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they shouldn't on Thursday night, but that's football, Susan. The Chargers are a team that makes no sense. The Chargers are a team with a great quarterback. I don't care what Mark Shanlugan says. Justin Herbert does great things. And in this matchup, he's the better quarterback. He's the guy who's going to move the ball more consistently. And I think what's more important here is I think the Denver Broncos are starting to fall back to earth a little bit. They had a nice little run. They won their 5 games in a row. They were looking like a team that was exciting, and they were all of a sudden going to be one of these teams to look at in the bubble, in the playoff hunt, like you mentioned there, Cody, with some of those other teams here. Yeah, they put a beating on the Browns. They beat the Vikings somehow. They beat the Bills somehow. What a beautiful thing. Except for it hasn't been all by the Broncos being this great team. They've been doing it by taping it together, throwing up crazy 50-50 balls to Courtland Sutton, a defense that's causing a crap ton of turnovers. Those turnovers already starting to regress a little bit here. They lost to the Texans last week. I think they're going to regress a little bit. The Charger season's on the line. Justin Herbert's the best player in this game. I believe the Los Angeles Chargers are going to play with that vigor. Now, it is a little bit worrisome here when you see Austin Eckler look like a little bit of a shell of himself. It's worrisome to see Quentin Johnson consistently drop more passes and only see Keenan Allen be the consistent wide receiver on this team. But now Jalen Guyton's back for a couple weeks. He's going to start getting into a flow here. Herbert's going to do what he has to do. And with this spread being at 2.5, we know the Chargers play these close games. Even some of their wins this year, they've been close. Their losses have obviously been pretty close for the most part here. The Chargers are a team that has to get it done now. And if you look at this spread from before the season, the Chargers are obviously looked at as a much better team. I still believe that. I think at this point in the year, they haven't been able to prove it. But now, Staley, this team, a lot of the players, Justin Herbert, they're fighting for their goddamn lives. And on top of that, the icing on the cake is all the money is showing me to take the Los Angeles Chargers here. 68% of the tickets are on the Denver Broncos, only 59% of the cash. That means that a lot of the cash, the heavy cash, is coming in on the Chargers, and the Broncos are a public underdog right now. When I see a public underdog, it's a great time for me to jump on that favorite. So I'm going Chargers strictly off bad vibes, minus 2.5. I hate it so much that I love it.
That is you get one of those per week for you, Pete. A pick that you hate so much that you love it.
It might be another one coming. might be another one coming. And guess what? It's not getting better. It's getting uglier with my next pick, I think.
Oh,
so
baby.
There's a teaser for you. And it ain't a teaser. It's a straight bet, but it's getting uglier.
All right. Well, yeah, here's one to hold your breath as well. But for the third straight game for Patty Boyle, the theme of the week in Week 14 is Road Dogs. Road Dog, Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know? Yo ass better call somebody. Monday Night Football. I'm calling Mike Vrabel. I'm calling Billy Levis, and I'm calling the Tennessee Titans plus 13. Mike Vrabel is good for one of these every single year. You go back, it might have been a year to the date. Titans Chiefs Sunday Night Football. Malik Willis under center. The Chiefs are 14-point favorites. It was on November 6th. It was more than a year ago. And what happened? The Titans led 17-9 with 3 minutes left, and then Mahomes went Mahomes. They get the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, and they win it in overtime. The Titans are 0-6 on the road this year. The Dolphins are 5-0 at home. Everything is suggesting that the Dolphins are going to blow them out like they've done to so many teams at home this year. This pick is straight vibes, and it is vibes only. Derrick Henry, out of concussion protocol, he's going to play. They're going to want to run the ball, muck this game up, win the time of possession battle. You got Tyreek Hill talking about how, teams apparently, thanks for disrespecting me, because you keep leaving me open. You think Mike Vrabel is going to leave him open? This secondary, which is still, in my opinion, very respectable. Christian Fulton and Sean Murphy bunting on the outsides. Amani Hooker to try to stop things from going over the top. Going to be interesting to see if they play a lot of one high safety, two high safety, if they play just cover three and sit back and force everything underneath. Either way, I think they're going to try to slow this game down, and I think Vrabel does such a good job anytime he goes up against a high-powered offense when he's a big dog and he needs to make the game ugly. And it's Monday night. So, again, just last week we see, and granted, Trevor Lawrence goes down towards the end of it. Otherwise, who knows if the Bengals actually win. But Bengals plus 10 with Jake Browning. He has a great game. Will Levis, we've seen him throw 4 touchdowns in a game already this season. Dolphins defense has been pretty good. But, he's finding that rhythm with D-Hop now. Henry's running the ball. Again, you know what the Titans are going to want to do on offense. Run the ball and use play action off of that. When you have a deep threat, even as old as he is, Hopkins can still get over the top. We've seen him burn secondaries this year. I think the Titans probably put up 17, 20 points in this game. I think they keep it within 13. I think they keep it within 10, maybe even a touchdown. Again, I think this is going to be a one-possession game late in the third quarter, and then we'll see if Tua turns into Tua turn the ball over, as he hasn't been that this year. He's been good. It's been tough. And, again, you have Tyreek Hill just burning defenses. He's made his life so easy. But for one game this year, if we get Tua turn the ball over, the Titans are going to keep this game close, and it might be real sweaty come the fourth quarter. So give me the Titans plus 13. Hold your nose. Here comes the cold water. Let's go.
Wow. Have you ever said Tua turn the ball over before? Because I don't think I've ever heard that.
Probably once or twice.
That's good. I like that very much. I also like this pick, Pat. I got to be honest. Other than me kind of leaning towards the Cowboys here, your picks are vibing with me a little bit here this week. And my question to this spread would be, why is it only 13, right? Because the Dolphins have not only been great at home, they've been running people out of the freaking stadium at home, right? This could easily be a 14.5, 15.5 point spread here. It's 13. And that kind of makes me think like, all right, maybe this is one of those cases where they're trying to say, hey, right here, dangling the Dolphins to run away with it right in front of you. Only need to win by 2 touchdowns, right? So I'm vibing with you here, Patty. I'm vibing with you.
And Pete, you're the master of finding out what the tickets, the percentage of tickets versus the percentage of cash. Are you able to, in the next 10 seconds, pull that up for this game?
Absolutely. Let me look at that right now as my thing has to reload now when you ask me for it.
Bill Levis?
Yeah.
Billy Levis.
Billy Levis. I was at one point this year, too, calling him Billy Beavis.
Matt, I think you'll like this. I think you'll like this.
Me and my roommates are calling him Billy Beavis, and then we were doing the Beavis and Butthead. Billy Beavis.
Pat, I think you're going to like this a little bit here. The tickets on the Dolphins right now, 90%. And the cash is 92%. So, yeah, of course, it's like a little bit higher. But that's not a big enough spread to, like, buy into, all the cash is coming in on the Dolphins. No, all the picks are coming in on the Dolphins. But when you see 90% of tickets, 90% of cash on one team, yeah, you know who Vegas is rooting for, right? That's what I'm talking about with this spread. Like, this could easily keep going up because of how many tickets are coming on the Dolphins right now. So, to me, like, that's even more of the vibes of why this pick makes sense. Like, Vegas wants this to go the other way, or at least they want to cut their loss and start getting some Titans action on this bet here. And the line's at 13. It's not at 14.5. It's 90% of tickets and cash on the Dolphins. So I think you'll be pleased with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you can start playing, reverse psychology kind of with both ways. Everybody's betting the
100%.
Dolphins, and it's still at 13. I feel like maybe come Monday afternoon, maybe you do see a 14 here. And you maybe start to see some action come back on the Titans. Either way, I think this is a game that Vrabel can keep close. He's shown he can in the past, so it can be Billy Beavis.
Love it. All right, Cody, hit us.
I will hit you. But I actually have a question first. Why is there 2 Monday Night Football games this week? Like, I'm not complaining about extra football on Monday night, but is there any reason? Is there a TV rights deal? You guys are a little more in the business than, say, a guy like me. What's the reason? Is it because the Giants and Packers is so intriguing that they had to have it on Monday night?
I think the only reason I could think of is there's very few bye weeks this week. And for some reason, they are so adamant about the spread of games on Sundays where they want to have like a million 1 o'clock games, only 2 or 3 4 o'clock games. And then they had to now put something else on Monday night. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. Cause like we could easily put in one more 4 o'clock game and they just don't do it. They refuse to put more than 3 4 o'clock games on at once. It doesn't make any sense, but that's my only guess.
I just Googled an article, and it says ESPN in a press release said that the schedule change is an opportunity to, quote, transform a Sunday afternoon environment into a primetime window. I don't know, dude. The holidays come, and, we got games on Saturday every week now. Double dose of Monday Night Football. The Giants-Packers game is actually, turned into, somewhat of a good game, though. So I think everybody, at least for viewership reasons, I think would be hoping for a Dolphins blowout, so then you can just pop over to the Giants-Packers. But I don't know. I think you might have to be doing some channel surfing, or like Cody is famous for, the double TV, double barrel action.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me even in the slightest. I have them both going on at the same time. It's curious to me because it's not yet the holidays. So it's just bizarre that in the middle of December we have 2 Monday night games. You're used to it at the beginning of the season.
It's weird.
I don't know.
It's my birthday on Tuesday, so I'm going to consider the NFL giving Patty B a little birthday treat. So I'll take it, NFL. Thank you.
You should have led with that. Now I understand why they have both games. The NFL's looking out for Pat. That makes sense. All right. Pick number 3 is it's quite possibly my least favorite pick of the year. Actually, I think it is my least favorite pick of the year. And not in the sense that I don't think it's going to hit or that I'm not as confident in it, but in the fact that I'm betting on 2 teams and on both sides that I just frankly don't want to. But it's where I find myself. And Pete, once again, we got a sandwich opportunity. First leg is the Broncos, and I'm buying them up to 7.5. And I'm going to be simple and plain with this. The Chargers to beat a team by more than a touchdown feels like impossible at this point. It feels like it cannot happen. And if you didn't think it was that way before, them being a 5.5 point favorite against the Patriots this week and covering that 5.5 points somehow by scoring 6 points should tell you all you need to know about a team who plays right to their competition. They're probably going to play a close game. They could even win this game, Pete, and that's why the sandwich is still open. But do I think that they can beat anyone, let alone a team that I think could beat them, albeit on the road? And I'm going to air quote the road because the Chargers' home is not a home like it is for the Chiefs or for the Cowboys right now or for some of these other NFL teams. I don't think the Chargers can blow out an NFL team. I just don't think they're capable of it for whatever reason. It's not a lack of talent. It's not because I don't think Justin Herbert's the guy. It's because the Chargers find a way to play right to the level of their competition. And so that's what I think they're going to do again. So I'm going to buy the Broncos up to 7.5. They have been playing good ball. They were a possession away from winning or at least having a chance to win this game against the Texans. 3rd and goal, and Russell Wilson got flushed out of the pocket. He ends up throwing one that gets intercepted. I thought he should have scrambled and been able to make that play last a little bit longer. He threw one up. He took a chance. Whatever. It happens. They lost the game. They've been playing really good football. Their defense especially has been playing really good football. They were able to hold the Texans team has been on fire offensively to whatever I think they ended up with 20, and I know that they were well under the total
22,
because I needed 2 more points in that game to hit a parlay. So Russell Wilson, you got me again. But you're not going to get me this weekend, buddy. I'm on your side, and we're going to back you at +7.5. And the reason that this is a 2-leg that I can't stand is because I have to bet against my own New York Football Giants. I'm going to take a minute for anybody listening who can call me a fraud. You can call me what you want. But I think the Packers have been playing really good.
Someone call Mark.
They've been playing damn good football, man. They really have. And Tommy DeVito and the Giants have won back-to-back games, but were they impressive in those wins? They beat the Patriots 10-7. Patriots missed a field goal. They go into a bye week, and you got people going on podcasts saying, "Hey, the Giants haven't lost in 3 weeks." Oh wait, that was
who would say that?
But do I think that they're going to win against the Green Bay Packers, who've been playing this good of football, whose offensive line has been protecting Jordan Love the way they have and giving him the time in the pocket to decipher the defense and make good decision after good decision and make a guy like me think, holy crap, is this guy actually good? I don't think the Giants are going to be able to stop that. I don't think that they're going to be able to, even at home, win this football game against a Packers team who, like I said, has just really been firing on all cylinders. I mean, their offense looks unstoppable, and the Chiefs' defense is a really, really good unit, and they felt like every time they had an opportunity to stop them, whether it be 3rd and intermediate, 3rd and long, 3rd and even short, I never felt like they were going to stop them, and they didn't. And that's because the Packers have been doing a really good job. Whether that's the play calling, whether that's the O-line getting them help, whether that's A.J. Dillon running the ball. I don't know if it's any of those 3 or the combination of all 3, but the Packers have been playing damn good football, and I'll be damned if I think the Giants' draft pick is going to get even worse this week at home against the Packers. So if I'm wrong, so be it, and next week I'll come on and tell you that the Giants have a chance at the playoffs, but I don't think I'm going to be. So I got the Broncos buying up to 7.5. I got the Packers money line. It's -123. I'm right on that threshold, but it's good enough for the picks. It's good enough for me. It should be good enough for you. See you at 3-0.
Wow. Cody, you think you know a guy, you really do. You think that over the course of a year of never meeting somebody in person and only ever talking to him through a box on my computer and through a group chat that is as toxic as they come, that you know a guy. You think you know a guy. And I got to tell you, we have a couple sandwiches right now.
Yeah.
And the Broncos teaser leg makes a lot of sense. It really does. You get them at +2, +1.5, whatever. You get them through the 3, through the 7. That teaser leg, it hits home with me. I respect it. However, my third pick,
you're gonna do it.
Another sandwich.
You're gonna do it.
A straight bet. The New York Giants +6.5 at home against the Green Bay Packers. That is my final pick. Do I need to say more? Yes, I do. I need to say a lot more because this pick is insane, isn't it? I'm going off vibes, and it's bad vibes. I'm a bad vibes only type of guy this week, Cody, and the Giants are covering 6.5. What have I been doing all year long with these picks to get myself to 23-15-1? I should be careful before I hit rock bottom and lose 0-3 3 weeks in a row here. But one of my tenets this year is to bet on the teams that just looked bad the week prior and to bet against the teams that are riding a little too close to the sun. And right now, Jordan Love is loving the sun. He's riding real close to it because he's on fire. Right now, in his last 3 games, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But it wasn't that long ago, weeks 3 through 7, weeks 3 through 8, where he had a pick every single game and multiple picks in 2 of those 5 games. Jordan Love still has a lot to prove before he can be looked at as the savior of the Green Bay Packers, the next franchise quarterback. He makes 1 or 2 throws that look like Aaron Rodgers, and he arrived. He made it. We've seen stories like this before. We've seen quarterbacks go on runs before. They don't usually last forever. In my opinion, the Packers are riding a little too close to the sun. And right now, you got to kind of go against the grain a little bit. It's that time of the year where we think we know. We think we know all these teams. We think we got it figured out. And then Jake Browning drops 300 plus yards on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And all of a sudden, the Bengals are favorites against a team that's been playing good all year, right? The Green Bay Packers have had a really impressive run here. They've been winning a lot of games. We know they beat the Chiefs. We know they beat the Lions. We know they beat the Chargers. But right now, they're going to the New York Giants. A little bit of an easier game, a little bit of a letdown spot, and you get 6.5 points for this game to be just stupid enough for the Giants to cover and somehow for the Giants to win when they should never be winning again for the rest of the freaking season. The Giants got some juice right now. The Giants got this quarterback, Tommy DeVito, that people are caring about. People are rallying around a little bit. The O-lineman, the receiver, Saquon Barkley, they're all throwing up the Paisan. There's a little juice with the Giants. And I'm not saying that means they're going to make a playoff run, because they're not. But they're stupid enough to win a game like this, to give all the fans just enough hope to keep watching the rest of this year, to make that pick worse. I've been saying it since they were out of it. Since they were out of it, every single week, I come on this podcast and I say the Giants are dumb enough to win this game and make that pick worse. And I expect that again. I'm going to sound like Chris Berman right now. Everyone's on the Packers. Everyone's loving Jordan Love. Well, I'm on the Giants. Plus 6.5. They're going to cover. They might just mess around and win this game that they absolutely should not win. That's my final pick. Cody, who's the real fan on this freaking podcast?
You either live long enough to die the hero. No, I just butchered that.
Maybe. Try again.
Hold on, ready? Rewind. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And Cody O'Connor has become the villain. Pete Kennedy's trying to die a hero. I got to be honest, Pete. I like the pick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what? Also, since this spread came out, so when I know Cody listens to Bill Simmons as well, so they do guess the lines on Mondays with Cousin Sal. And for the most part, I forget the lines, as soon as I finish listening to the podcast. If you ask me 80% of the lines, even though I just heard them, I just forget them. It's Monday. I'm not really thinking that far ahead yet. And I enjoy the podcast, but I don't lock it in. When I heard that line, I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm talking myself into the Giants right now, aren't I? And I got to say this. I bet the Giants a few times this year to pretty good success. And a few of those legs have been teasers. But I have a feeling. I have that feeling where I think they're, for some reason, going to keep this game close. And, Jordan Love is getting all this love, all this hype. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, Jordan Love in primetime. What's going on over here? You know what I mean? I could just see it happening. It happens way too often in this league where we think we figured it out, and it crashes down to earth.
I'll say I think the path for the Giants is to stop the run and to be able to allow Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau to get to Jordan Love because they've been so good in play action. And that offensive line, like I said, has protected him so well. So if the Giants can stop the run and be able to get to him, that's where all bets are off, and that's where they'll have an opportunity to do so. And look, maybe it's an emotional hedge. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But Giants come out and win this football game, man. If you think I'm going to be upset about my pick being lost, you are sorely mistaken. I'm talking myself into the Giants playoffs. I'm talking myself into the Giants making a run. Hell, I think the Mets are going to get Yamamoto all in the same breath. It's all going to happen on Sunday, baby. Wait, that's Monday that they play. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Boys, before we wrap up here, can we get some love here, because we have a final in Pittsburgh, and it was Zappy Hour all night long. I had the Patriots +6. I had the Pats money line. I had Zeke anytime tud, and I had Zeke over receiving yards. So like
Wow.
I saw this clip today. I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted it on my Twitter at PatBoyle44. This woman on, was it like CNBC or one of those fucking channels, talking about how single men in their 30s, or, well, you know, I turned 29 in a fucking week, so I'm almost there. But single men in their 30s, like, she goes, you know, 30% of them haven't had sex in over a year, and they don't care because of sports betting. She's like, the pleasure they're getting from. I'm like, lady, hold on. But now that I'm thinking about it, like if I go 4 for 4 5 days a week, maybe I don't think I care about sex too much, honestly.
And those are 4 straight legs too. It was amazing. Yeah. I don't need to see another lady the rest of my life.
I won't be raw dogging a single fucking thing if you can promise me that I go 4 for 4 the majority of the days of the week.
That's incredible. Also, what a great play by you. And that's like, dude, the Pats are the perfect example. They have no reason to win games right now. Zero reason. And what do? Play the best game of their season. Like, what's going on?
Bro,
it doesn't make any sense, dude.
Also, Mitch Trubisky never in his life, as long as he has a pulse, never deserves to be a 6-point favorite. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, that's
you know what? It didn't hurt me that T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith both got hurt like almost immediately. But
right,
fuck it, we ball.
I blew it tonight by hanging out and having fun and having a few drinks and adult beverages, and I did not take the Patriots like I texted my buddy to do in our pool, and I didn't take anything because I just simply lost track of time and forgot. But you know what? We did hit a nice Pacers same game parlay. Pacers Bucks run at 5. I didn't forget about that one. Hit a nice like 700 or so same game parlay, and I got
a big ticket
to win the in-season tournament at plus 450, and that's alive. And they're definitely playing the Lakers as they're up by 40 points as we speak right now. So Pacers
best team in the league,
in-season tournament title. But I completely botched missing this, but I was right there with you, Pat, because there's no way Mitch Trubisky should be a 6-point favorite. Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you didn't place any bets, but
none.
I mean, you guys have been in some long-term relationships. I know you guys aren't having sex that much anyway anymore, but what percentage of bets do you have to win to guarantee that you wouldn't have sex for a year? Like 60%, or it's got to be 70?
55.
55 to be a winning bettor. That's it.
Break even, dude. I'm breaking even. I'm having a good time. All right, listen. You ever bet $100 on a Sunday and end up at 102 in your balance? I have, and it's pretty sick. It's pretty freaking sick. I'll tell you what. I texted you guys a couple weeks ago. I placed 13 wagers today, and my balance is $2.17 higher than it was when I started. Is that not a great day? You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing. What else do you need?
You won. You won today.
Couple Guinness and the same balance I started with. Boom. Might as well not have placed anything.
There's few things better than about $12.50 on a Sunday, where I tell Alyssa, don't worry about the studying you're doing. Don't worry about your job, because this 19-cent bet to win $250,000 is cashing today. This is the
guaranteed
day. And usually by 1:15, that hope and dream is over.
I get a call from my future brother-in-law here. He's like, "Hey man, I got a lock for you." Next words, it's 13 legs.
Gotta love it.
Oh man, what are we doing?
That's it, right? Dollar and a dream, J. Cole.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh well, where do we go from here? I think we close up shop here, right? We'll get Mark Shanlugan's picks from him for social media at Subway Sports Talk. X, Instagram, TikTok. They'll all be up there. The TikTok had some juice on it with the Quentin Grimes, DeMar DeRozan proposed trade. A lot of people done with Quentin Grimes. A lot of people out on Quentin Grimes. And listen, it's hard to say I don't get it because I get where you're coming from. But, man, I don't fully get it. This guy was so good last year. And some people came to the defense. Some people came to defense. It was good stuff, though. Good juice on the TikTok. So follow us on social media. Subscribe, rate, review the podcast on your podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, notification bell. You know what to do. You listen this far to us bantering, ranting, and raving. Bad vibes only. You know what it is. That's what we got. Subway Sports Talk. Thanks to Cody O'Connor and Pat Boyle. As always, shout out to Mark Shanlugan. I'm Pete Kennedy. That's all we got. Cheers.